We're the Podcasting Dead, back for another retro review where we are going back and reliving the old Walking Dead episodes and discussing them for the first time for Jessi, for the 1,000th time for me. But I'm Justin.
I'm Jessi. And
we are the Podcasting Dead. If you are into podcasts and you like the Walking Dead and people just talking about a bunch of, dumb stuff, then you should subscribe. It's well worth your time. Don't forget, if you like the video / audio / all of this, just hit the like button. It helps us out tremendously. And after the podcast, we'll talk about our Patreon and stuff like that. But as for the time being, we're just going to jump right into it. We're talking about Season 4, Episode 7. It's called Dead Weight. It was directed by Jeremy Padissoa. It's like when they hired these directors and writers, they were like, we're going to hire people that Justin will never be able to pronounce. So sorry, Jeremy, I can't pronounce your last name. It was written by Curtis Gwynn. It originally aired November 24th of 2013. And Jessi, getting into it, what did you think? Because we're only one episode away from this big finale I've been telling you about that I'm so excited for.
Well, I was right about the governor not being good for very long because he's back on his ish. He is back on it, and he's back on it strong. And also all day at work. So this morning I had a light bulb moment and I was like, wait a second. And I thought to myself, when I saw the governor looking at the prison, that was way after the time where he found these people. So he wouldn't have been leading them to the prison at that moment. And some time would have had to pass. So clearly I didn't have the full picture of what was going on. And all day I was like, what? I was thinking about what could possibly be the situation. But now, since I watched the episode, I think he's definitely planning on taking over the prison.
Well, and, it's like I had a realization, like rewatching this, and I've seen these two episodes. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I'm kind of going back through The Walking Dead, I will skip these a little bit because they are, once you've seen the show a bunch of times, these episodes, they're not necessarily like you're just trying to get to that finale and back to the prison group. But I did notice in this episode, though, I almost feel like the governor was truly like he's at this point not reacting out of a power desire. I think that he truly is doing what he thinks is going to be best for the little girl, because he asked Martinez and he was very subservient. He's up there handing him his liquor and golf balls and not doing anything. And it was the moment when he said, I don't know how you do it, because I wouldn't want to go through, I wouldn't want to lose him again, or something like that. And he's like, you don't think you can keep this place safe? And when Martinez was like, do my best, it's like that is what changed the governor. Like at that point, I think up to this point, he had his doubts, but he's just kind of going with the flow. It's what Lily wants, it's what Megan wants. And I think at that point he realizes that, okay, they can't do it. I've got to do it. So, because he's telling him as he's holding him over the pit, like, I don't want it. Like, like I don't want the leadership role, but clearly, and then it's just like the same thing happened when they were in the woods with, the two brothers, and the one brother was thinking just like the governor, like, we can take them. We should take these people out, take their supplies, get it back to camp. And that's just what we have to do. And then the other brother was like, no, we got to find a better way. And that's when the governor realized, okay, this guy sucks as a leader.
Yeah.
Because he's not, so I do all of that to say, I do think the governor was trying to be better. I think that he wanted to be better, but he just realized that if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Like he wanted to be good. I think that he decided that he didn't like who he had become at Woodbury, and he didn't want to be that person again, but it's in there.
It's in there, and it's just, I think it's somebody he realizes, we all interpret life differently and from our experiences. And I think with the governor, this was just a wake-up call to him that the governor is who he has to be in order to save the people that he loves the most, because I think he really does care for Lily and Megan and probably even Tara. But You know, I mean, especially too, it's just a lot of things happen that put him in that situation. What about when Megan was getting chased by that zombie when she pulled the curtain, you know, pulled the laundry back? Did that startle you?
I knew it was coming.
It's like, that has got to be a zombie.
When it was just like she was running through the mobile homes or whatever, and it was just like it was just too perfect. You know, it was too perfect. I knew something was about to happen. And I thought she was going to get bit, especially when Tara was trying to pull.
Oh, wasn't that gnarly?
Leg, and it just like fell apart. I was like, ah! Megan's a goner.
Yeah, that was disgusting. I remember watching that like when it came on TV and just being like, oh, just all that skin just peeling off. I mean, it was, and then I think that was a moment for the governor when he was just like, you know, this is not safe. We are not safe here. And he knew he had to do something, you know. I think that, like I said, I like to think that he truly was trying to change, but in the end, just realized this is who he needs to be. Yeah,
he being the good guy is not how you survive. And I think that's, because remember, she said, what are you doing? And he said, surviving. And that's when he went and he killed the brother, I think.
Yep. I know that you don't have any siblings, but even still, can you imagine that you probably wouldn't follow the guy who just murdered your brother? Like with me and my brother are different in some ways. We're very similar in other ways. But even if we disagreed on how to survive, I can tell you right now, if somebody comes to my trailer and basically says, yeah, I killed your brother, but we both know he was wrong, and if you follow me, blah, 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 I'd be like, yeah, man, sure, yeah, absolutely, man. And then the second I got him alone and his back was turned, boom. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a different world they're in too, though.
Well, I'm with you on that. I mean, I don't have siblings, but I do know people who have siblings that they can't stand, but when it comes down to it, they will do anything for them. So I feel like even if you don't have a good relationship with your brother, if that happened, you're not going to be on this dude's side.
Right.
And like you said, you're going to like pop a cap in him as soon as you can.
Well, and I mean, you've got, you know, best friends that you've had since you were kids, and I'm sure you consider them basically sisters. And it's like, you know, imagine somebody killed one of them and then came and told you like, yeah, I killed your best friend, but, you know, I mean, so again, I know it's a zombie apocalypse. Things are totally different. But still, I mean, that's someone you truly care about. And then here's ultimately a stranger that you don't know that has just showed up and killed them. So we get to learn a little bit about the governor's history, too, as far as maybe what's going on with him psychologically. We know he had an abusive dad. You know, a lot of psychopaths, when you watch these documentaries on serial killers and psychopaths, they usually have abusive parents. That's usually kind of how it starts.
Yeah.
And we kind of get that from the governor when he's reminiscing on him and his older brother, and which to me too, that almost also felt like a nod to the comic, like book that went along with the comics, The Rise of the Governor, because up until the end of that book, spoilers, it came out like 10 years ago. You should have been and read it. But, you know, it's like in that book, you know, his brother is the hero. Like Philip is the hero until something happens that sends him over the edge. But all the way up to this point in the book, Philip has been the hero, and Brian, which is ultimately the governor, is like a coward, and he, you know, depends on his brother to protect him and stuff. So, you know, I feel like they were kind of throwing like nods to the book there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, first off, I didn't even ask you in the beginning. I normally start them out. How did you like this episode? Did you like it?
I loved it. Yeah. Because it cleared up like questions that I had about the governor and his intentions, and kind of like if he really was changed or not. I was because remember the last episode he threw me through a loop,
right,
changing his ways, and I was like, it can't be that simple. And so this episode, I was like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming.
Man, and what do you think about the ending there? He finds Michonne. And don't you just love how happy they look? Like Herschel's doing his thing. Michonne's leaned up against the truck, just giving the biggest, prettiest smile ever. And it's just like, don't even realize she's got a Beretta pointed at her.
Don't kill her vibe. Come on. I don't think he's going to kill her. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well,
I think he's going to not. And I think he's going to plan ahead something better. I don't think he's just going to shoot her at the first. I think he's going to plan a raid. He's going to have a whole plan. I don't think he's just going to do it on a whim. Yeah,
it may be, or he might just cap her right in the head. It might be the end of Michonne right here because we've gotten to know her character. No. Maybe that's the end of her arc. Maybe this is as far as she goes, and that's it for Michonne. He ends pointing the gun at her or at them, and I just remember at the end of this episode, I was like, no, I've got to know what happens. And then the next episode came, and I'm not going to lie, I was not ready for it. I think you might think you're ready for it, but you're not ready for it.
Wait, does Rick see him and shoot him?
You think like
Carl?
There'll be no big nothing. It's just like he's pointing the gun. The next episode is pew, he gets shot in the head, and it's like that's the end of the governor. It's
like, okay, so what is the mid-season finale gonna be now? Because
Daryl's just like,
you got him,
Rick. Yeah, it's I don't know, man. I really do. Like I said, I do skip these episodes sometimes when I go back through the show, mainly because being I've seen it so many times. A lot of times I'm just kind of going through highlight episodes, But yeah. Going back and rewatching them, they are good episodes because they definitely give you a lot of exposition on the governor. They really kind of take you for a roller coaster of like, he's good, he's redeeming himself to, oh my God, he's bad again, but I don't think it's out of greed in that sense. Like, I don't think it's because he just wants to lead. I think this time it's to protect other people. Even though he's going about it all wrong, morally, he's doing what he thinks he has to do to keep the ones he loves safe.
Dude, he had it out for Martinez anyway because of when they were sitting at the picnic table and Lily said to Martinez, "This is the first time I felt safe." And then the governor was like, "What the heck, man?" Well, he didn't say it, but he said it with his face. Like, "You didn't feel safe with me?" But then her and Martinez kept talking, and then you could tell it was like getting to him. So I think he had it out for him anyway.
Well, also too with the Martinez thing is Martinez was, I know he was a little intoxicated, but I think the governor and him had a good understanding when he first showed up. Or Martinez is basically like, I'm in charge, blah, 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 blah. And I think the governor at that point was just like, dude, I don't care. Whatever, man. And then I think it was a couple of different things. And I think he was still willing to look past them. Like when Martinez was like, when Megan was like, Brian, the RV is leaking again, or whatever. And, he's just like, yeah, hey, man, you should fix that, And I think that irritated the governor. And then I think it was something else he did. Well, then he comes back and is like, I got a job for you or whatever he says. And then he gets him to hold his liquor. Like, this is the governor. This is a guy that is capable of some terrible, terrible things.
Yeah.
He's not above backstabbing. Like, I would have never... I know Martinez was drunk, so ultimately that's probably the excuse, but I would have never turned my back on him.
No.
Not at any point. If I was a right-hand golfer, I would have had him in front of me, not behind me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So that was, and again, alcohol. You can blame it on Martinez being drunk, but
you can blame it on the alcohol.
Oh.
Anyway.
Hit it again. Say it again.
Blame it on the alcohol. But I just have a question because I caught something, but then I was like, did I miss something? But anyway, the governor told Lily, I'm not going to lose you again. Did he lose her before, or is he getting his before life mixed up with this life?
Exactly that. I think he's referring to her as if she's his wife. You know what I'm saying? Like because he's not lost her unless he's referring to like when they got separated and he fell in the pit. Maybe it's simple and that's what he's talking about. But I interpreted it as, because she even kind of looked at him when he said it, kind of like,
yeah. But then she didn't say anything, and I was like, okay.
And I think he was talking about like his wife and daughter. Like, I'm not going to lose you again. Because the governor's borderline delusional too, in a way. Like, he lives in his own world. He sees the world totally different than everybody around him. So I took it as him referring to his dead wife and dead daughter.
That's what I thought. He's a loony bin.
But I know that this, going back and watching this, answered a question that answered something that I had said, and we'll discuss it when we get to the finale on the next podcast, but something that I had said a while back that I now kind of understand. So, but yeah, what about that cabin they found with all those headless soldiers?
That was really weird. There's
a lot of parallels to the governor too, because you had like the guy had all these heads in his house, and then they're just kind of like, who would do that? And the governor's just sitting over there like,
he's like, I wouldn't read too much into that.
I don't know who would do that. Must be a crazy bastard.
Yeah, that was weird. I tried to figure it out, but I couldn't. I mean, I thought maybe it was more to it than that. Like, somebody had known these people, or one of them was actually Lily's husband or something. But
yeah, it was,
I don't know,
kind of dark there, kind of dark. And I wonder how long they were off hunting, right? Like, they found that group of people. That group of people looked like they had been there for a while. That camp, I don't know, they had like wire and stuff around it. I had assumed they'd been there for a little while. It's like, what are the odds? Like, they see it, contemplate robbing it, and decide not to and move on, and then like on the way back, they're all dead. I
thought the governor did it. I don't know why.
Sneaky governor. He snuck away without two people noticing it.
Well, yeah, I don't know why my brain went there, but I think it was because he was like trying to show them, like he knew that it, like, how did he know?
I don't think that he knew. I think that when they had gotten back, he kind of saw it through the woods and knew something didn't look right, and that's why he was investigating. So the big question here, if you were in that situation, it's you and some people out in the woods, and you find this community full of people with everything that you need, that you're out searching for, who would you have agreed with? Or who do you, of course you don't know until you're in that situation, but who do you think you would have agreed with? The guy saying no, or the guy saying we can take them?
No.
You don't think you have the heart to do that?
No way.
Even if you was starving and you had to protect your kids? If
I was starving, I don't mind asking that other group for help. I mean, if it really came down to that, but I'm not going to kill everybody.
See, I believe in strength in numbers, and that might be a weakness. Everybody talks, we've had podcasts, and I would like to do another one now that we've got a whole new lineup of people, because we did one with me and the old Matt and JP on like how we would survive the zombie apocalypse. So I would love to get one with like you, Matt, and maybe Seth and do it again, because that was many years ago. But I believe in strength in numbers. Yes, there's more mouths to feed. Yes, there's more people to take care of, but you also have more people to go get food. You have more people to, you can split up and do supply runs to multiple areas a day. Granted, you don't want to pick your camp too thin, but I mean, you could take 2 or 3 groups of people and still have plenty of people back at camp. So I am of the thought of, I would have been like the other guy, which ultimately would have got me killed, of like, hey, we could probably take them in. I mean, they've probably got food and supplies, and they know clearly where to get it. So, I mean, because you just never know what you're losing. Somebody in that group could be a farmer. That could be the one to start growing your crops. They might have a doctor in that camp that could, save lives. You just don't, I don't know. I guess I just would say I value the people in the sense of everybody could bring something.
Yeah. So that's how I've throughout this whole thing, I'm sorry. The rain. I just heard the rain, and it's really loud, and it scared me for a second.
So I thought my air conditioner cut on, but I guess that's what it is here, too, because I was like, my air conditioner's never been that
loud. You know somebody who can fix that.
Yes, I do. Well, I don't know that I could fix it, but I could sell myself something real nice.
Anyway, what was I saying?
We were talking about the killing people versus, you know.
Throughout this whole thing, I've been saying, why would you not bring people in? You know, I mean, I realize the whole trust issue, but I mean, I think the more people you have, the better. And like Herschel didn't want to let them stay on the farm. And I'm like, but why? That's more people to protect you, more people to hunt. Also, my son asked me yesterday if I was in a zombie apocalypse, would I survive? And I said, it depends on who I'm with.
Do you have faith that if you were with me, you would survive?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you said, I think if you have more people, you have more security. Because in this world, just like they could have gotten the drop on that group, there are going to be people who are going to try to take what you have. You know, in this post-apocalyptic world where food's hard to come by, all of that, there are people that are going to want to kill you and take your stuff. So the more people you have, the less likely they are to F with you, because they're going to roll up and be like, there's way too many of them. Like, we can't combat that. You know, and I just feel like, you know, I know the counter arguments, but I mean, also too, you have to remember humans are social creatures by nature. When they put people in like isolation in prison and stuff, you know, sometimes it drives them crazy. We, as much as people want to, it's like cool nowadays to be like, I'm an introvert. Like, everybody loves to say that. Like if a while back it was everybody was OCD. Now everybody's an introvert. I hate people. You say that, right? It's like, I dislike stupid people. But at the end of the day, like, we are social creatures by nature. That's why we formed cities and communities and countries and states. We need other people. So I don't think lone wolfing it would really cut it in the zombie apocalypse. You know, unless you're a Michonne. I think Michonne's probably the only one that could just straight lone wolf it, because she's got the mental stability to handle being alone. And she's also a BAMF, and she's sneaky, and she knows when to fight, when not to fight. Again, me riding the Michonne hype train. She's one of my favorites. So. Yeah,
me too. That's why I don't feel like he's going to shoot her.
But I mean, you know, with that said, I'm more like him. Like, dude, these are capable, able-bodied people. You know, who knows how they could contribute? They might actually really do some good. But I don't know. Ultimately, if I would have been there and said that, I would have gotten killed.
Yeah, it's a cruel world out there. I mean, it would be so nice. I mean, it wouldn't make for a good show, but it'd be so nice if all the people who survived the zombie apocalypse could just come together and work it out. Like, you can repopulate.
You're right.
Everybody can just help each other, and it'll be okay.
Well, and I read something a while back, but it was talking about misconceptions about an apocalypse. And they've shown in times where, you know, the cities were hit with big hurricanes or earthquakes or whatever, communities do seem to pull together to help each other. Now, I think that it would be that way in the beginning, because they pull together to help each other because they know help's on the way. They know food. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a temporary thing, but we've never been in a situation where it was just like everything, you know, is gone. There's no society, there's no stores, there's no nothing. And it's like, you know, people, our generation, we've never, like the Great Depression, those people were, I mean, a lot of people were used to farming and being more isolated, but like now, I think communities would help each other, and your neighbors would have your back for the first little while. But when things got dire and they realized food wasn't coming, they weren't able to go to the store, you know, they don't know how to grow food, they don't know how to hunt food. I think people start getting desperate. That's where it breaks down. But, you know, I'm like, to your point, it's like, you know, and in a situation like that, I think way more people would pull together than you think. I just don't know how long that would last.
Yeah, it's the sad truth.
you know, I would definitely vet people. I mean, anybody I brought in, I'd be like, you know, this is like you starting a new job and you're on probation. You know, we're going to work together. But the first sign that you would stab one of us in the back to take what we have, your butt is out of here. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what Rick told that girl in the woods. I was trying to feed him to her head, her husband's zombie head.
You try anything, and I will kill you. She was like,
I won't try anything.
We've had 2 episodes without that group, and
you miss them. You miss them.
I do miss them. I want to know. I still need to know what Ty's going to do about Carol. I want to know how Daryl's going to feel about it. I miss my Daryl, and I got a little glimpse of Michonne, so I'm happy with that, but I miss her too.
And you probably also want to know, like, what Carol's up to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, will we ever know?
Nope. You will never see her again in the entire show.
When does she come back? Will she come back to help fight for the prison? And then Ty just like sees her and kills her in the process, but she's actually the one that kills. She kills the governor, but then Ty's like.
So Carol comes running across the field, and she's just like,
I'm coming, guys.
And then the next thing you know, like, here comes Tyrese.
Yep.
Like, dang, man.
But like, she actually helps out, like, in a really good way. Like, she makes a difference, but then Ty kills her.
That would be tough. It's like she just...
And then Daryl is like, oh, hell no, Pakistan. And then he kills Ty, and it's just like, who's on whose side right now?
The governor is just standing back and is like...
Okay.
Okay, let's just chill back and let them do their thing and see what's left. Wouldn't that be hilarious, though? Like, you roll up to the prison, you ready to go, and all of a sudden when you get there, they're all fighting each other, and you're like,
yeah.
Huh. All right, well, you know what? Let's go back and we'll reconnect here in like 24 hours and then see what's left.
Yeah. I mean, it's foolproof.
Or like they roll up and then Rick's group's like, running at him. He's like, get ready to fight. And all of a sudden, like, Carol and another group come and they start fighting, and the governor's just sitting there just watching it and just like, all right.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know, man. With the mid-season finale is next podcast, so people will get to start their Monday off with that. We've got to get your reactions recorded.
Hold on. The next one I watch is the mid-season finale?
Yes, the one I've been telling you about.
I thought I had one more before that.
No, you are about to watch what is, if it's not my absolute favorite episode, I think it is, honestly. If I had to go back, if Netflix would show me which Walking Dead episode I've watched the most, this one would probably be it. This was...
What?
And it's not to say that there aren't other great finales and great premieres and great moments, because it is. There's still a lot of exciting Walking Dead. I don't want to build this up as if nothing will ever be better than this, because there is plenty of good Walking Dead on the way. But this mid-season finale, oh, what's the saying? Like, it just gets my goat. What does that even mean?
Literally never heard that.
Yes, you have.
Does it tote your goats?
Totes my goats.
Totes my goats.
That takes me back. Totes my goats. I'll take you back. Remember this one? My leg itches.
Yeah, I just told my kids about that.
So, little completely unrelated to The Walking Dead, Jessi and I, if you're new to the channel, you might not know this. Jessi and I go back a long ways. We've known each other since like middle school. So it's like, there was this thing when our group of friends back in high school, we all used to hang out. If we were on the phone with each other and it was something that we didn't want our parents to hear about, you know, it could have been like sneaking out. It could have been drinking, whatever. It would be like, did so-and-so hook up with so-and-so the other night? My leg itches. And that was code for my parents are right here. Or did you get the booze? My leg itches.
My leg itches.
It was code for parents are around. STFU.
Yeah, I had a few other ones and I can't remember what they were, but that one I think about a lot.
Oh, I still remember it because I heard it so many times. You know, you're at that high school age where like you're getting into stuff and people are doing things and partying, and then it's just like, so your conversations are way less innocent, and it was just like every other night on the phone I heard my leg itches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like I would call my best friend, your girlfriend at the time, and you'd be sitting right next to her, and I didn't know that you were sitting right next to her, and I'm like, hey, so was Justin being a douchebag today? And she was like, my leg itches.
Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. What?
I'm just playing. That never happened.
I mean, I'm sure I was a high school. It was like, or it was high school through like first out of high school. So I am sure I had plenty of douchebag moments. I hate that guy, but I hope you didn't have to, because you were always like one of my favorite of the friends.
Oh, no, I didn't. That never happened.
I say, because we got along. I ain't saying she didn't have a friend or two that we didn't go at it a few times, but you were the one that like I got along with.
Yeah. Yeah, that never happened. I hope you don't take this. If it happened, I wouldn't have said that because I made you feel bad. So
no, I mean,
it was a joke.
It could have been like, have y'all been fighting? My leg itches, you know, and it's like, oh, okay, girl, tell me about it later.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was mostly just for the parents.
I know anytime it was like, so y'all, I hope your parents don't watch this, which I mean, at this age, and there was plenty of times where it'd be like y'all were going to sneak out and we were going to pick y'all up, and it'd be like, so what time are y'all sneaking out? My leg itches. Fucking leg itches. Leg is so damn itchy.
So bad.
Parents over there like, I think she has eczema.
You got eczema?
But back to The Walking Dead. So, you know, with this episode, what would you rate it? 1 to 5. What you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Oh, really? Because you gave the last 2 5s, didn't you? Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you did. I know you gave the last one a 5, and I thought because the one before that was the great episode with Herschel and where everything was popping off in the prison, and you know, so yeah, you had 2 5s. I think a 4 is okay. Yeah,
it is. I don't know why I give it a 4 over a 5, but that's just where I went. I'm sticking to it.
I'm going to give this one a 5, and not to be too liberal with the 5s, but the reason I say that is because after having seen it, it only took me like 1,000 times of watching it to come to the conclusion that the governor, I think, was trying to change. I think all the times I've watched it up through now, I thought he was still the same old evil governor, and it's just something about that. Maybe because we podcast about it now, and I've, you know, trying to analyze it more, but I came, in my opinion, to the realization that I think the governor was truly giving it a shot at going with the flow, not being a leader, just trying to be a better man, and he just couldn't escape himself, especially when he thought other people weren't going to do it right.
I think you're right.
So we're going to have to wait and see. But next week, oh my God, I'm so excited. It is the season 4 mid-season finale. Oh, I cannot wait. And don't forget, we are taking a little 2-week break after that. And then we'll be right back at it, just because we want to keep these consistent and we want to get Jessi caught up. I would like to, you know, at least halfway through, at least by the end of next year, which I know that sounds far away, but at that point, I think we could have you caught up.
Yeah, I hope so.
If we're doing 2 a week, I got to do the math on that. See how many episodes there are in total, 2 a week, and where that gets us. But we are going to take a little break just to have a week or two to relax and get fresh, because the thing about doing these podcasts is it's very easy to get burnt out on them. So I think it's important to take like a 2-week break, come back fresh, ready to rock, get yourself to where you miss it, and be right back in action.
Sounds like a plan.
So with that said, before we wrap up, don't forget, we do have a Patreon. It helps to support the channel, and you get extra content. JP is back. For any longtime listeners, you know JP. He is back on the Patreon exclusive, primarily because he's not censored there. Whereas if JP came on YouTube or Spotify or any of those, he feels like he has to really dial himself back because we'll get demonetized or strikes or whatnot. Actually, after we got flagged that one time back in the day, that was what started his whole, like, screw it, type thing. So JP's back. He does a once a week podcast with me over on the Patreon. We also post these retro reviews at least a day early. If I get to work on them a few days, I try to have them up maybe 2 days early, but you do get these a little early if you subscribe to Patreon. We're also going to start Leather Chairs and Whiskey in January, which will be a fully produced, fun video podcast where we'll be drinking and getting to know random people you've never seen before. Also, we're giving away a free t-shirt. So I need to announce that on Patreon. But yeah, so we've got some rad Podcasting Dead t-shirts, and I'm going to start giving one away a month until we don't have any more. So, and we've got a lot, so it'll be many, many months. So head over to patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. Also, don't forget to go see my friends over at moviepalette.com. They make awesome artwork like this. This is Fight Club. They take your favorite movies and take the color schemes and basically like the reel and turn it into art. Any movie you want, they've got. So go check them out. And if nothing else, make sure to tune in on Sunday. We'll be doing a live stream where we're reminiscing on The Walking Dead and asking questions. Jessi's not allowed on that one because it's lots of spoilers.
I'm really sad about it, too.
Tell me how I just about tripped up sitting down. How does that happen?
I don't know.
Neither do I. But with that said, that's going to wrap it up for the Podcasting Dead. I'm Justin.
I'm Jessi.
And we'll see you on Monday for that mid-season premiere. I'm so excited and sad at the same time. Goodbye.